Aloha, everybody. This is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks on YouTube, episode 29. I'm just waiting to get some food here, but I want to get on here pretty quickly and go over some recent stuff. I don't know if I mentioned that I went to a Padres game last Thursday. Padres had lost to the Dodgers 5-2. It was a good night though. Hung out with some Dodger buddies. Good game though. Padres had um, they actually had led I think 2-0 in the game, but then the Dodgers came back, scored the next 5 runs and won 5-2. Um, my buddies had gotten us seats behind home plate on the 300 level, so got to see the whole field. That was great. And then uh, the Padres had actually clinched a playoff spot, actually. So the Padres are in the playoffs. They clinched their playoff spot on Sunday during the middle of their game against the White Sox at Petco Park, and the Padres had actually won their game last night against the Giants at home, 7-4. So the Milwaukee Brewers, they are now eliminated from making the playoffs, and right now the Padres are sitting in the 5 seed, and the Philadelphia Phillies are sitting in the 6 seed. Right now the Phillies are 1 game behind the Padres with 2 games left. There are games today going on. Phillies are playing the Astros, and Padres are playing the Giants. So there's 2 games left. Padres are ahead by 1 game. Um, the Phillies, however, do have the tiebreaker on the Padres. So should they tie by the end of tomorrow, the Phillies will get the 5 seed and the Padres will get the 6 seed. Now, what comes with that is the Padres, if they're the 5 seed, they are most likely facing the New York Mets, who will most likely be the number 4 seed. But if it's the Atlanta Braves, the Braves might become the 4 seed and the Padres play the Braves. Um, Now, if the Phillies overtake the Padres, then the Padres fall to number 6, and the Padres would be playing the 3 seed, the National League Central Division champions, the St. Louis Cardinals. Um, so we'll see what happens with that. Um, right now, the Braves and Mets are trying to fight over the NL East Division championship. Um, the Braves have just swept the Mets over the weekend. So the Braves have like a 1 game lead, I believe, on the Mets with 2 to go. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, to the Padres, I guess it doesn't really matter because I think the Padres, in my personal opinion, could take out the Cardinals. I also think the Padres can take out the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets. So now the question is, do the Padres want to face the Dodgers in the second round? Because if the Padres win the 5 seed and they beat the 4 seeded team, whether it's the Braves or the Mets, then the Padres will then have to face the LA Dodgers in the second round. The other scenario is the Padres could be the 6 seed, and they play the Cardinals. And if they beat the Cardinals, then they're going to face the winner of the NL East division, which is New York or the Atlanta Braves. So, um, I mean, eventually you're going to have to face the Dodgers at some point in the playoffs. And much less you're going to at least have to face the Braves or the Mets in the playoffs, too. So, Whichever way works, but honestly, I'm just glad the Padres made the playoffs again. Their last playoff appearance was in the 2020 shortened season. Um, Padres had beaten the Cardinals in the first round, but they lost to the Dodgers in the second round. And the Dodgers ended up winning the World Series in 2020 in that shortened season. But before that, the last time the Padres were in the playoffs was 2006. Uh, and they lost the Cardinals that time. What's weird about 2007 is that the Padres um, were in the one game playoff, which is basically game 163, which they don't have anymore. But that was against the Colorado Rockies, and they lost to the Rockies in that one game playoff. And the Rockies went on to the World Series, but they ended up losing to the Boston Red Sox. Um, but yeah, um, hopefully the Padres will do well. I did buy a ticket to see the Padres home playoff game, and that's actually um, the first home game they're gonna have should the Padres get past the first round. Since the wild card format is basically all three games are being played at the higher seeded stadium, the Padres will not host a playoff game in the first round. If the Padres get to the second round, then yes, the Padres will have at least one playoff game, and I actually bought a ticket for that playoff game. So hopefully it turns out to be Padres and Dodgers in the playoffs. That'd be pretty cool. If not, then Padres versus Braves or Padres versus Mets in the second round. That'd be cool too. Uh, so yeah. Oh, and Aaron Judge just hit his 62nd home run, breaking the American League home run record. So now Aaron Judge is the home run king in the American League. Um, what else? So you guys can't really see me. Oh well, I'm just gonna be talking here. Right now that I mentioned about the playoffs and stuff, I did go over the National League playoff picture, which is essentially the one seed belongs to the LA Dodgers. The two seed is currently the Atlanta Braves, but it could change to New York Mets. The three seed is the St. Louis Cardinals. The four seed could be the Mets, but it could also be the Atlanta Braves. The five seed is currently the Padres. The six seed is the Phillies. Now the Padres and Phillies could interchange should something happen in the last two games, but we'll see what happens. And then ooh, light came on. Um, the American League, we got the number one seed is the Houston Astros. The number two seed is the New York Yankees. The three seed is the Cleveland Guardians. The four seed is the Toronto Blue Jays. The five seed is the Seattle Mariners, and the six seed is the Tampa Bay Rays. Um, so that's pretty cool. Um, there probably won't be a lot of changes in the American League playoff picture. It's almost a solid six from one to six. The National League might have two different changes, but we'll see. Um, but yeah, we do have 12 playoff teams, so that's great. And then see what else? What else? Oh, Saturday. Saturday was UFC Fight Night at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. Main event was Mackenzie Dern versus Jan uh, Yaonan Ning Yao. Uh, we'll just say Dern versus Jan. Uh, So it went 5 rounds. Mackenzie Dern was trying to find the submission all night. Um, but the judges had scored it 48-47, 48-47 for Jan, and 47-47 as a draw. So that, I believe that is a split decision or a majority decision. So um, unfortunately, Dern lost to Jan, but I actually had scored it as Jan 3-2 over Dern anyway, so I wasn't too surprised. But considering the fifth round could have been possibly a 10-8 round, that would have been a tie um, for all three judges, but that was not the case. Um, so what else was on the card was Randy Brown was going up against uh, Trinaldo. Randy Brown won the fight. You also had um, Sodiq Yusuf. He won his fight. Um, Joaquin Silva. He won his fight. There was, um, I believe, I want to say there was a fight with uh, Castaneda, but Castaneda I don't think won the fight. Um, it was interesting because Castaneda would have won in the first round, but it ended up going past the first round, and his opponent ended up beating him. I think it was an early stoppage too. So, so that was a fun card. I actually watched that card at the Dave and Buster's in Mission Valley, celebrating my friend TJ's birthday with him and his girlfriend, uh, Beyonce Charisse. Um, I actually brought on another group of friends to join in on the birthday party. Uh, so we had a good time, watched the fights. I didn't partake in any of the games or the arcade, but um, had some. I think it was a mushroom burger. That was good, and then had fries with it. Fries were good. The food was basically I guess it was 8.5 out of 10, and the service was good too. Two ladies had served me and one guy, so they're pretty cool. One of them did change the TV to the UFC fights, so um, and then after that, I actually ended up going to a comedy show in Vista at the Wildwood Crossing in Cantina. It was hosted by Anita Laugh. Got to meet her once before when she was co-producing with Chris Williams. Um, so this show was headlined by Rachel D, a friend and comic. Um, Her comedy, I think that night was basically a 8.3. I could say funny stuff, new and old material mixed together. There was also my friend and comic Rachel Sterling was on the show. Her comedy was a 7.8 out of 10. She kind of had a rough start though because the first minute the speaker and the microphone was cutting in and out, so it kind of had to restart her set over again. But she seemed pretty cool with it. Seemed pretty happy. Uh, there was also Jessica Hudson. I got to meet her before. She was there with her fiance, who actually let me watch some of the Padres game. Padres won that night, Saturday against the White Sox. Um, uh, Jennifer Hudson's comedy that night, I think it was a 8 out of 10. Crowd got a lot of laughs going on, especially talking about edibles and being at the baseball game for the Padres. and being on edibles. And then a shout out to her fiance. So I did get to meet a new comic. It was Carmelita Jones. I guess she's from Chicago and she moved to California, and I guess she's bouncing between San Diego and LA. I guess. So I got to talk to all of them. Carmelita Jones, I believe, her comedy was like a 8.3 out of 10 actually, and then I think Ania's comedy at her try at comedy was about a 7 out of 10. So Um, so after the show, I got to meet all the comics, and then I got to run into my friend and fellow comedy fanatic, Sean. I'm glad he could make it out. For me, I actually had 4 people going, but then they all canceled on me. So I actually had 3 seats open, and it so happens that I met a couple at Wildwood Crossing, and they needed tickets when they were asked what they were doing at the cantina. And I was right behind them. And I told them, you know what, they could just come with me because I have an RSVP'd under my name, and I was going to have 3 open seats anyway. So I figured they can take my the 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 empty seats, the open seats. So that was my good deed of the night. And then it was even better because got to see all the comics. I got to talk to all the comics after the show. It was good catching both Rachels because I haven't seen them both on the same show, and I finally got to see them at the same show. So that was pretty awesome. We all got to hang out until the end. So it was a good night. And then, oh, NFL Week 4. That was something. Chargers won, beat the Texans. Kind of made it a little scary, but the Chargers ended up having a touchdown clinching by Eckler to win the game 34-24. Uh, Chargers are now 2-2. Herbert seems a little better now. There's a better flow to this game. Got a little more people involved. Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, Everett. Um, so, and then what else? Oh, Packers beat the Patriots on a last second in overtime field goal. Beat the Patriots. So Packers just got by. Seattle beat Seahawks beat the Lions 48-45. I didn't have my receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown. He was helping me kill it in fantasy football, but he was not available. But I managed to win 4 out of 5 of my fantasy leagues. Go figure. Um, Chiefs beat the Buccaneers 41-31 on Sunday Night Football. Beat Tom Brady, paid them back for the Super Bowl beatdown coming from Tom Brady. There was a pass by Patrick Mahomes where he got close to the line of scrimmage and close to the goal line, and he just flicked it into the end zone. And it was caught by one of his receivers. It was caught by Edward Solaire, I believe. So that was pretty cool. That actually won me my fantasy matchup at work. Um, what else? Raiders beat the Broncos. Raiders finally got their first win. Um, Titans beat the Colts. Um, Eagles beat the Jaguars. Cowboys beat the Commanders. Giants beat the Bears. 49ers beat the Rams on Monday Night Football. What else? Cardinals beat the Panthers. Jets beat the Steelers. Bills beat the Ravens. That was something because the Bills were losing 20-3, but they came back and scored the next 20 points and won 23-20. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens had 4th and goal, and they opted not to do a field goal when it was 2020. That kind of baffles me, actually. And the Bills went the other way for 80 yards, or almost 80 yards, and kicked the game-winning field goal as time expired. So Ravens have lost big leads, double-digit leads to the Miami Dolphins and the Bills. So, I mean, the Ravens are kind of the top tier team, but they just can't close the game. Uh, so yeah. Um, what else? What else? What else? Browns lost to the Falcons. Um, okay. Um, I oh yeah, no, I think I covered everything. Well, if I missed a game, I apologize, but I think that was all 16 games. um, can't think of anything else really. So yeah, um, well, you know what? I think that's everything. Comedy show, we went over the UFC fights, the Padres, NFL. So, and I did mention I went 4 out of 5. So, the the league that I am most invested in, I am undefeated. There's the league um, I actually won it last year. It was a winner take all, and I think I won $1,700 in that league. And I was temporarily banned from the league for talking too much. Go figure. And then, um, so I was invited back, and I'm now 4-0, and I have outscored everybody by 130 points. So I'm doing pretty well. Next one, I think I'm in the top two. I did win this one league called the Tea Leaf League. I'm 3-1 in that one. Uh, I and I actually had beat my buddy Chung, who was in last place, and it still has yet to win a matchup this year. So it was good to beat him because that's for me is a rivalry game for me. I don't like Chung. I'm kidding. Okay, and then there's my own league. Um, in my own league, I'm probably number 6 or number 5. I'm 2-2, but I did beat my buddy Tom. He was undefeated, top two. But I'm glad I made that 0 into a 1 in the loss column. So uh, I beat him very soundly. And then I have a work league, which I think I'm number 1, and I'm pretty sure I'm 3-1 in that one. Um, the tea leaf. Uh, in my own league, I should be number 1. I should have won all 4 weeks. I am the best scorer in the league too. And then I have another league that is with an ex colleague, but that one I'm actually doing bad in. I'm 1-3 in that one, so I don't think I'm in the playoff picture, but I need to kind of climb back from that. So yeah, fun times. It was great. I'm glad I go on 4 out of 5. Just need to start winning again in that one particular league, but I'm doing pretty well in the other 4. So, sky's the limit. All right, guys. Um, anything else? I might be going to a comedy show tomorrow night at Pally Wine, hosted by Cash Comedy, Cash Habib, and then I might be going to a comedy show in Pacific Beach at the Amplified Ale Brewery, um, hosted by Melissa Wiseman, good friend, um, great comic, great producer. So that's Thursday. So um, there's also like, well, I was planning to go to a comedy show on Friday, but then I just realized, you know what, that might be the Padres playoff game. I'm going to be tuned in for that. So depending on what time that is, actually, play it by ear, I guess. Or I might find out by Thursday actually. So we'll see what happens. Well, yeah, I'm going to be moving soon. Um, moving within the same complex I'm in right now, so moving to a bigger place. All right, that's it, guys. That's all for me for now. I'll talk to you guys later. Have fun. Be safe. Tiggy Maximus out.